Hola, my friends. I hope you're so well wherever you are in this right now moment. So, I wanted to share a little love and light into this digital world, and I have the intention that it lands in your sphere of energy with a lot of grace and maybe a little inspiration. So, off topic. But you know what? I found the best lip stuff ever, and it's called Mango Kiss. I love it. I have them all over. Everywhere you look, you're like, I find them all over the place. I love them. I give them as gifts. Anyway, that's not remotely what I was going to talk about. What I want to share is that everything in our reality is completely changing. You may be feeling this for yourself. You may be feeling this in your mental body. You might be having completely new thoughts, new ways of seeing things that you're like, whoa, I never saw it from that angle before. You might be thinking about possibilities around time. So you may be feeling like you can go back in time and start to alter things because we can. You may be envisioning a future that you maybe never thought remotely possible for you or for the world. Our emotional body is completely being wrung out in this big evolution, this sacred ascension, this transformational, transitional time of now. The emotional bodies are being cleared. So that looks like if you have unprocessed emotions, it's time for you to process them. And that could look like you sitting with the emotion and feeling it. And it can also look like you moving those emotions through your body while you feel it. That way it's more like a double whammy and you just get it done faster. So like if you feel anger, for example, and you like allow yourself to feel it, and you allow your thoughts to think about whatever made you angry, and you're like, yeah, okay, fine, I'm not angry anymore, but your body has been like clenched the whole time, your body's still gonna hold it, okay? So it's like a dish, right? You can rinse it out, but sometimes you just gotta wash the dish, and there's that physical movement of washing the dish. We're the vessel, and that washing is a very physical experience. So it could look like somatic work, it could look like running, it could look like dancing, it could look like punching a pillow, whatever that is. But there's a movement to this ascension process, depending especially on where you are in this. Our physical bodies are also being put through the ringer. And I want to drop in with that a little bit because I've been having my own experiences. I will be called to do what is in the highest good, typically before the collective gets the hit to do so. And I'm grateful for that. So it gives me this ability to be like, hey, so just so you know, you might experience this in your now. Our physiological systems, our vessels are getting upgraded in a way that we have not collectively, especially experienced before. Our bodies are holding a different frequency, a different harmonic resonance. So imagine if you are a light wave or you're a cup and you've been holding this wave of light, okay? This is it. You've been holding this. Ish. You get moments where it gets a little scrambled and the data gets deformed, but like generally speaking, it's this, okay? Now, what if our homeostasis frequency is actually more like this, right? It's just faster. It's just a faster frequency, okay? But we have been compressed, suppressed, oppressed, and our frequency has been altered by outside experiences so that our energy waves have been slower and lower, keeping us moving in a consciousness that's slower, more dense. The way that looks in the field of our emotional body and our mental body is that it looks more like judgment or fear or a lack. It looks like pain. It looks like more suffering. It looks like grumble, grumble, grumble. And so that dense, slower frequency, right? That's what we've been trained to live in and as. Now, we have chosen to collectively come here to this earth plane at this now so that we can shift this frequency in our and with and as our bodies. This is a sacred AF evolution, y'all. It really is. It's such a massive, sacred evolution. Now, imagine though, right, that you're just accustomed to this frequency, right? Now you've done your work, right? Let's say you've done your healing work. You know, you've done your somatic practices and you've gotten your prayer practice down. You've got your yoga, your breath work, and your chanting down, and you're living your life. So your baseline frequency is probably a little higher than this really slow, oppressive energy that many humans are still carrying and living as. It's the consciousness. Now, so you've got this one. You're like, I'm moving faster. Like, it's good. It's good. It's all good. Now, mind you, side note, that we're all going to go through our own versions of dips and valleys and distortions and wobbles in this frequency. Okay. So trust that's just the human experience. Now, what I'm seeing is that the collective frequency wave is speeding up dramatically. That means it's moving what appears to be faster. It's just the oscillation rate is increased in what we would call time, which is literally just a measurement, a unit of measure between point A and point B. So the oscillation rate of speed is increasing dramatically. So that's like going from AM to FM. That's like going from 3G to 5G. That's like going from like radio to compact disc. It's different. Now, what's really interesting about this is that the faster this is, the greater the experience of a human is going to be, okay? Because the faster this is, the different types and amounts of light that we can hold in our cup, proverbial, it's just different. So if we've been here, right, we've been in this really slow, then just imagine this for color's sake. That here we've been in, say, like grays, reds, maybe some oranges, a couple plops of yellow, a little echo of a green here and there. And then the faster we go, the more colors start to get added in. So now we're like less grays and more Roy G. Biv. We have more rainbow. Okay, so here we are. Where we are living with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Okay. Now, we go faster. Well, then we go into ultraviolet colors. Ultraviolet colors, we have been told that we can't see them with our eyeballs. However, some people can see them with either their eyeballs or their mind's eye, their third eye, because that frequency is in a harmonic resonance with our pineal gland, with our third eye. So we can then start to see things that would be the unseen realm. However, no, we can, some people can see that. Some people call it, say, spirits or the auric field of things, or you can just see energy. You can see galactic star friends. You can see things that maybe others can't see. Maybe you can see angels, you know, whatever. You can hear things. You can hear Great Spirit talking to you. You can hear your ancestors. You can hear what the plants are telling you. It's a different radio station. It's a different bandwidth of an oscillation of energy that we are attuning to. I have so much to say. Probably should have done this on live, but no. Anyway, so we're integrating a higher resonant frequency of an energetic bandwidth and oscillation. That in itself is massive. Like, that in and of itself is like, holy moly cannoli, that's legit. Now, in that's legit, if we are able to keep up with it, we can continue to hold it. We can continue to integrate it and radiate it out. If we are in resistance to it, then it's gonna hurt, right? It's like, it reminds me of if you go to the dentist. Whenever I went to the dentist, I liked it, instead of them scraping, they would use this like high pressure, like water pick, like a sonic one, and it felt so much better than the scraping, right? So kind of the same thing. You know, the scraping has more resistance. It's like metal on teeth scraping the plaque or whatever off. But the pressure, the water stuff, it was just more gentle. You know, it still may be uncomfortable in some sensitive spots, but it just showed you the areas that maybe you needed to tend to, or maybe you need to do more oil pulling or whatever, right? So, but with the scraping, now that's just uncomfortable like all the time. And then they hit a tender spot and you're like, whoa, tenderoni, hate that. So this resistance, the more resistance we have, the more uncomfortable it's going to be, especially when we are shown our sensitive spots. Our sensitive spots, what are our sensitive spots? They're unhealed traumas, the unprocessed emotions. There's spaces where you're not forgiving or you haven't forgiven. There's spots where we're still holding judgment on ourselves or on each other. It's spaces of fear. It's spaces of fear. Oh God. It's the spaces of lack. Like, oh, I'm never enough. I'm never good enough. No, nothing's ever enough. There's not going to be enough. Those are areas of resistance, because the higher frequencies of this light are reflective of our divinity, the pure light, the all light. When we take all the spectrum bands of light and you put it together, it makes the most brilliant light ever. That's our wholeness. We are light beings. That's our spirit. So we are forming our spiritual self. We've always been our spiritual self, but we are forming it. We're taking the light of the I am, the wholeness, and we're integrating it into our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. Which is exciting. It's so exciting. To me, it's just like, wow, what a dope time to be alive. I mean, really. Now, side note, there are people that are not here to hold that amount of light. They're not here to hold that energy. They have been here to hold the energy up until a certain point, and then they will be transitioning, dying. We'll call it dying. They'll be transitioning so that they can live in spirit realm to help pour this energy back down to us, for us. Call it ancestral support. So I say that because there's going to be more dying on the earth plane that we experience and we see. And that can be really hard. But if we kind of remember, wait a minute, they're here to serve their next mission. Their next mission is to be of service from the spiritual realm, to bring me more light, to bring more light here so that I can bring the peace on earth that they want to experience. And maybe they'll get reborn again if you believe in reincarnation. Or maybe they just get to witness from a higher realm of consciousness and like cheer us on. Either way, And then every time we integrate more of that light, we can't not live with more reverence. We can't not live with more devotion and dedication and honor. So typically when someone has the higher frequencies that they're resonating at, then they are going to have more of a spiritual practice. Finger quotes, because it's not going to look one way and only one way to have a spiritual practice. If you're a farmer and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, I have homestead and I live with the land, that is a spiritual practice because it's connecting with something bigger. It's connecting with life in a bigger way. To me, that's a spiritual practice. So whether it's connecting with the land, your farm, your altar, your community, your church, yourself, with love, with peace, with play, with creation, whatever that is, when we do it from a higher realm of consciousness, because from the higher realm of consciousness, we are aware that everything is connected. And in that awareness, we bring attention to it. And through quantum entanglement alone, then we feed through the quantum the spirits that are supporting us. We are adding more light to the light, and then the light adds more light for us, and then we are adding more light to the light, and then that light adds more light to us. And we just keep ping-ponging this, and then we start to create a whole new harmonic with Great Spirit, with Source, with the Creator, with our ancestors, with the unseen worlds, realms, whatever that is to you. But we start to ping pong, and imagine that ping ponging, it's like from me to you. If I am thinking of you and I'm like, oh God, I love you so much. And then you're looking at me and you're like, oh God, I love you. I love you, Jane. And then I'm like, oh God, I feel that. And then I love you more. And you're like, oh God, I feel that. And you love me more. And we start to ping pong this back and forth, right? It's very tantric when we kind of view it from this perspective. It's not kind of. And that itself is a whole bouncing back and forth. That itself is a whole oscillation of love. So that's what's happening in the greater, grander scheme of things, is that we are getting divine support so that we can integrate more light in our cup, light, in our vessel, in this container, in the human, as the human. So there's that integrating the physical and the spiritual, right? Here I am teaching quantum spirituality. The physical and spiritual meet. Hey, it's true though. So as we are receiving these, I call them codes. They're data, it's data points. Light to me is carrying codes of information. The way the light moves through the water or through what we call form, it creates a brand new cymatic, especially when we combine it with sound, and that's our form taking shape. And that's what we're doing. We're evolving. And we're not it's not like we're going from like a monkey to a human, if that's in your belief system or not. That's not what's happening. We are here to be the embodiment of the divine, very similar to what the Jesus story said, right? Like, hey y'all, you are me, I am you, you're all the Son of God, samesies with whatever words resonate for you. The words of specificity don't matter when the matter that we're talking about doesn't have matter. It's the wordless wonder of the infinite source of creation, whatever that is, the infinite source of light or the infinite source of the black void. Either way, it's a source of creation. And when we recognize that the source of creation is sending little like blow darts of divine support, like pew, 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 at us through either the dance of the cosmos or spiritual awakenings or hitting rock bottom and finding your way back up, whatever that is. It's a way of pulling ourselves out of dense ways of being, lower frequencies of consciousness, and rising to the occasion of the present moment and what is needed now. And what is needed now is peace, love, compassion, and harmony. And then we can start to go into the higher frequencies: joy, pleasure, ecstasy, bliss. So there are some people right now that no matter what's happening on this earth plane, which is pretty tragic if you really look at it, some people are still able to experience joy and pleasure and bliss. And it's not because they're bypassing. Maybe they are bypassing. I don't know. Maybe some are, but some aren't, right? Because there's always going to be both. So they're here to hold that frequency, you know? And then there are some that are here to hold the frequency of continual transmutation, of going into that darkness and being like, yeah, I feel that fear. Yeah, I do. And I'm going to feel it, and I'm going to sit in it, and I'm going to transcend it. I'm going to rise above it, and I'm going to remind myself that there's nothing to fear. Because what's the worst case scenario? Is what, that I die? Guess what? We're all going to go there anyway at some point in time. So, F that noise. You know? Oh, what if someone sees me and I'm judged? Oh no, well then they're judging themselves and they're just projectors. And then if I am taking offense to it, then that means I'm still in the frequency of judgment. So then I can accept whatever it is that I am, or that I am saying or doing or being. So some people are diving deep into that, into the shadows, and coming up and doing this work. There are some that are choosing to live in the darkness and the shadows, and living in fear and judgment and stagnation and all of these just really low vibrating energies. And they don't want to move it through their body. They're here, they have a contract to hold that. Okay. And they're just not going to be as comfortable. Like, it's not comfortable when you're diving into the depths and you're transcending it, when you're doing your spiritual work, when you're doing your healing work, when you're working on your mental health and your emotional health and your physical health. It's not necessarily easy. It's not. But coming from an experiencer of, I am not doing any of that. I am just going to live a life of addiction and pain and suffering, and I'm going to bring it all on myself, but I'm going to blame others for it. I was committed to that, you know, and my body hurt. My body hurt a lot. So, and I either had the choice. I could have continued on that path. My body would have continued hurting. My mental body would have continued hurting, and my emotional body would have continued hurting. And eventually it would have taken me out of the game. Whether it was by my own hands or some other decision that probably would have led me to an overdose. Or I could have chosen the other path that I have chosen, which is to be like, F that noise, let me look at this darkness, look at this pain. I am ready to feel joy. I'm ready to feel peace. I'm ready to feel abundant and prosperous in my life. I'm ready to feel love. Like, I'm ready. And those were the hardest days of my life. But even though I was in those darkest times, I could feel a deep inner awareness that, one, that I was being supported, and also that I didn't care if I was supported, because I was so ready to either die or live that I was willing to die to live. Does that make sense? I was willing to die to live. And every time I would go deep into those depths of my own pain or my own traumas or neglect or abuse or whatever, that was me facing death, the darkness of me, the parts of me that I thought were dead, or that I thought I had killed, but I really didn't make amends with it and heal it and transmute it. I didn't go through the alchemical process to shift the frequency. And then once I chose to live, and if that meant dying to live, then so be it. Then I was like, yeah, I'm diving deep. Yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah. And the next thing you know, I'd be back up again, and I would feel lighter. I'd feel more relief. I'd feel more expanded. My life became easier and easier. So all of that is happening for the collective. And for me, It's been a choice because of the timeline that I've chosen to do my life. I've been able to choose to go into this darkness. But something that I've noticed about the universe is that universe will show me my darkness if I am ready for it, even though I maybe don't want it. Right? It's like, oh, well, when that boyfriend cheated on me, I wasn't really wanting to see that. But I needed to see that because I was ready to feel better. I was ready to be in a more stable relationship. I was ready to be honored as the goddess. I was actually ready for that. And I was no longer in a space of continuing to play that scene out over and over again. So universe was like, fine, I'll show you. He's cheating or whatever, you know. And I was like, oh shit. Oh, okay. Okay, that hurt. And there's a reason. So I say that because we can either choose to look at the darkness, the shadows, these pains, these woes, these unprocessed emotions, these griefs, our grievances. Or, don't worry, they will be shown to us. And some people will continue to put their blinders on, continue to distract themselves, and turn on the TV, or drink another beer, or smoke another whatever, or hook up with somebody else, or whatever. Like, people will still continue to distract themselves through the process. That's okay. But if you are of the nature that you are fed up with aspects of your life or this world, then you can either make the choice of like, you know what, I'm committing to creating my life. I'm committing to love. I'm committing to joy. I'm committing to living a better friggin' life than what I've been living, because I don't know, it's not been working for me. And then you're going to start to seek support, right? Whether you get that support from your source, your creator, your bestie, your Jane the guide, you know, whoever that is for you, that is your support, that can guide the way for you, that maybe has some lived experience in these dark, deep shadow spots, to be like, it's okay, I've been there too. I'll guide you through it. You got to do it. I'm not doing it for you. If you find someone that says they're going to do it for you and they're just going to bippity boppity your ass, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Trust that one. It will not work. It might feel good for a little bit, but you still have to do the work. So that's what's happening on the earth plane right now in the collective experience, is that this light is coming in whether we're asking for it or not. 1, 2, people be asking for it. People are calling in the light. People are like, dear God, help. People are asking God, source, creator, Allah, whatever the word is to you, the wordless wonder. People are calling upon the wordless wonder to help us here on this earth plane, because it is getting craptastic in so many ways. People are having a hard time seeing all the murder of like life, whether it's life in form of humans or life in form of earth. People getting real tired of it because it hurts. We don't want to see that. We don't want to experience that. We don't want to be that. We don't want to have to fear for our life when life is our birthright. And so people are calling on Great Spirit. Please, Great Spirit, help us live. So in that, Great Spirit will answer. God will answer. The universe will answer. And that's what's happening. Our calls are being answered. Now, that doesn't mean that Source is going to be like, look, it's all better now. Not until enough of us have done the work. Again, the work looks different for everyone, but trust that it's not turning a blind eye, and it is doing body, mind, spirit harmonizing in a different frequency. And so that's what's happening. We're going through a collective shift of this. We're getting so much support. And it's almost like if you, so the analogy that's coming through right now is if you call someone for support, say your house is a mess and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to start. I need help. I'm not the best organizer. I don't have enough garbage bags. Like, I don't know what to do. And you call your besties and they're like troops, right? And they come in and they're like, they're helping you clean, right? And they're doing all this. But say so there are two versions of you. The one that's like, yeah, I don't know, help. And then you're helping, or you're saying, I don't know, yes, no, maybe, donate, keep. You're in the bathroom, you're scrubbing the tiles while they're doing everything else in the house. Like you're hands-on in this game. And then there's another version of you that's sitting back on the sofa eating your bonbons and being like, you're not doing good enough. You need to scrub a little bit more. You need to do this faster, friends. Bet they're gonna leave. They're gonna be like deuces to you, right? Because when we call in support, it doesn't mean that they're gonna do it all for us. They're gonna help us. But you gotta do your part. That's what we're here doing. So if you're feeling so much right now, if you're feeling like you're just tired and you want to nap, or you're feeling really inspired and motivated, but you don't know if you're good enough or if you're ready enough, or if you are just feeling like you're chomping at the bit and you're ready to take that leap, like whatever it is that you're being called to from this really deep space within your heart, my invitation is to listen to it, is to reach out for guidance where you need it. There are so many people that have come online that have this wisdom. There are also a lot of people that are waking up that are now like, look, I just woke up and you can buy my program for thousands of dollars because I just woke up and I know everything. But they don't actually have the experience. So just have discernment. I was there, when I first really woke up, I was like, everybody needs to know. And now I have a decade or so under my belt of living as the embodiment. And I'm like, oh, this is the difference. It's a different place from which I can stand and have a perspective. So get the guidance that you need. I'm getting guidance right now for a cleanse. I'm working with someone right now that I'm in a 10-week cleanse. I think I'm in week 5 or 6. And we're just going through this process, and they've been there for me, and they're, supporting this for me, because I couldn't have held myself accountable. I wouldn't have known all the plants that this person knows and specializes in to support this process of literally cleansing, detoxifying, and renewing my liver, my kidneys, my bladder, all of it. It's like a whole new gut system. It's great. I'm also excited to be complete, not gonna lie, but I'm feeling really good. But my point is that, I'm getting the guidance that I need. My physical body could use a massage. Okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the physical touch and manual manipulation that I need for my physical body. Right? So whatever it is that you need, don't be hesitant. Don't hesitate. Don't resist your needs from a point of pride or embarrassment or shame. Please let those things drop away and just ask for what you need or what you want, and trust that if whoever it is you ask can deliver, that they will, and if they can't, they won't, and something better is coming. This is the time where we're going to get to have opportunities to truly start leaning on each other and living as community, as spiritual love nuggets that care about each other and life. So I'm sending everyone just a ton of love right now, and just beams of grace as we're all navigating people being reborn and people dying, and people seeing their own shadows within themselves, and also seeing the collective shadows being played out outside of ourselves, while we navigate brand new territories of the heart, being vulnerable in brand new ways, sharing ourselves, our stories, our light in ways that we've never done, because we're moving into a completely new energetic field of consciousness. It's a brand new time. It's a brand new life that we are moving into. And it will only be as quick as we are ready and willing. So my invitation is to be willing. Just face it and just do the work. Just like, oh, okay, I'm doing it. I'm committed, you know. And another invitation and encouragement is, as people start talking more about these spiritual kind of things, some people are going to start talking about Jesus more, God more, different religious terminologies, different names for source and creator, different practices, whether they use a mala or a rosary or anal beads, whatever. Like, I said that out loud. But true, like, whatever it is people are using in their life, please no judgment. You know, because if Jesus is what saves me and your connection to Pachamama saves you, does that mean that we're that different? No, we're just calling it different names. The message came through a different radio channel. That was it. That's it. Still the same message, right? It's like the what is it? Don't shoot the messenger. Don't idolize the messenger. Pay it the reverence that it is due. Live what the message gives you. Unless the message is to like do harm, and then like, no, please don't do that. We've got enough of that shit on the earth plane. We're good. We're good. So take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. If you are looking for guidance or support, send me a direct message. I'm only seeing people on a very limited basis right now. So only the special ones, and not that you're not special. Everybody's special. I'm living my life here in Central America, and those that are ready for the medicine and the coding that I give are the ones that come through. So if what I have said has sparked something in you and you're like, yo, I think she could guide me in some spots, because chances are I've been there. And I am a living testament to embodying the divine with awareness. So I am loving you so much from Costa Rica, and I look forward to the rest of this earth journey with each of you, and I will see you on another now. Take care of yourselves. Peace.